everyone, welcome to the Movie Session Show. My name is Fariba, and tonight we're about to watch the third episode of House of the Dragon. We're not quite halfway there yet, but we're getting very close to it, which is insane because the show just started. It's only getting good. The dances of the dragons have now started. The Targaryen Civil War has started. And last week we saw what happened, basically the aftermath of the Blood and Cheese event, Jaehaerys' death. And we saw how everyone was responding to it. We saw from both sides. We saw how Aegon approved of Kriston's plan to basically assassinate Rhaenyra. And of course, we saw what happened at the end of last week's episode with the tragic fight between the Cargyle twins. And I mean, again, it's so heartbreaking to see that. Even I was just like, oh, which twin is which? But it was so sad. I mean, we're basically seeing just the bits and pieces of how tragic this whole war is going to be between a family, and how it's not just within the Targaryen family, but it's also going to have an impact on just about everyone around Westeros, and even impact other family members, as we saw with the Cargyles. So yeah, I don't have nothing much to say beyond that. So yeah, let's get right down into the third episode of House of the Dragon.
Can you even get that thing up?
Well enough for killing black
That's
boys.
That's a Baratheon. Wait, is it the same kid from back in season 1? Is it the same kid?
Put the back.
Babe killer.
What did you say? Your false queen Rhaenyra is a kinslayer.
Your uncle declared for Aegon, did he?
Aegon Targaryen is no true king.
Ooh,
Just as you are no true knight. You're both craven. You wouldn't dare.
Okay then. Wow. I guess the war has officially started, guys. Jeez. What the frick? This looks like Gettysburg.
Otto Hightower would never have allowed this.
She's right.
Hotter blood has prevailed, I think. What it was that began the war in the first place.
That is easy enough. They usurped my throne.
That's just one answer. Or was it when the child was beheaded? Or when Aemond killed Luke?
She's the wisest one
Or
of
when
them all.
Luke took Aemond's eye. Alicent Hightower.
When last we met, Alicent said I would make a fine queen. You've seen what is
So hateful to the gods as a war between kin. And no war so bloody as a war between dragons. I do not believe she wants it.
She sent a raven.
You permitted the murder of a little boy in his bed.
The most reasonable one.
Alicent is in King's Landing. Her son sits my throne.
You're well, Lord Hand. Only they'll be waiting.
Do they not remember what happened like literally a couple days ago? They're not even taking him seriously.
Forgive my lateness.
Important business, no doubt.
You've appointed new knights to the Kingsguard, Your Grace.
To replace it already has. House Bracken took it upon themselves to attack the Blackwoods, who declared for the Pretender. Lord Samuel Blackwood himself is slain.
Good. First blood in our name.
Both sides and the Brackens have feuded for centuries. This is nothing more than an excuse for them to indulge their ancient grudge. It's no true war.
Call it what you will. I call it war. And so will Dragonstone. The question is, what are we going to do
To control them. Lord Grover Tully is a flaccid old fool who can control his cock and a curly. Begging your pardon, Your Grace.
Do you have any better suggestions, Lord Jasper?
Your Lord Uncle Ormond.
Ah, the great military mind of the Citadel. Do
I
remind
served
me,
around
which
the
link in your
Grand
chain denotes the art of
Master.
war?
This council must rediscover the discipline it lately had if it's to be of any use.
The Riverlands are the key to the war. Or I will enlist the Brackens, subdue the Riverlands, and take Harrenhal.
So impatient to ride in so few men. So like to be destroyed by the first.
To defend the city.
Good. To war, then. I'll come to you.
And
with
war
some-
has
Egon.
You'll
officially,
lead a dragon.
officially
My
begun.
plan is not to draw attention.
And what will you do?
Why you must remain, brother. It's a brave thought. We cannot risk your loss.
I'm as fearsome as I...
Is that Massaria? Is she the one who alerted Eric?
You turned back from your ship to bring warning.
I was not believed at first.
You saved my life.
What is the life of a queen worth? I would think you would wish to reward me.
What price would you set?
A place at your court.
Take it. Take
You
it.
said your earnest desire was to flee Westeros.
And to serve there. That is worth more than gold to you now.
And what is my worth to you?
To those who served me. But more than that, I know the struggles of the small folk of King's Landing. They will be ruled either by you or by the usurper. And only one of you has shown yourself to be merciful.
I hope you do not confuse mercy with pliancy. In the night, and their dragons are ever a short flight away. You must take the little ones further. To Pentos, I think.
When my mother died.
It is safer than anywhere in Westeros. Write to Prince Reggio. If he will have you, then go to him. I need you to be the mother to them that I cannot. Teach them, train them, guard them as a dragon guards her eggs.
And my sister?
Oh, he's about to go to Harrenhal. The cursed fortress.
I'm claiming Harrenhal.
Apparently so.
That was easy.
I, Sir Simon Strong, Castellan of Harrenhal, pledge fealty to Rhaenyra of House Targaryen, first of her name. I swear this by the old gods and the new.
It's at the false court of Aegon.
Larys Clubfoot is no lord of mine. He's a scourge upon this castle and this family. Do you not think it strange that his father, my nephew, Lord Lionel, perished by fire, and his son too, here in this...
Of the perilousness of assumption.
Indeed. Your Grace, begging your pardon for the impression, his grip on his bannerman is weak. They feel they can do as they please.
I will speak with him nonetheless. People should obey their liege lord, whatever his condition. Perhaps the presence of the crown and a dragon will sharpen minds round these parts.
Might I ask, Your Grace, the throne?
It's a big chair made of swords.
Lord Commander.
Oh, he got a haircut. He got a stupid haircut.
May I present my brother, Sir Gawain Hightower? Arrived last night from Eltown.
Sir Kristen. Mayhaps, I should say. My Lord Hand.
So, Wayne, welcome to King's Landing.
How exhilarating to father, who served 3 kings faithfully, unseated as hand of the king.
And by a man from such modest beginnings.
Blessings. In his heart. Your Grace.
Oh, I'm assuming he's just being suspicious. Oh, ooh.
What advantage we do have.
And what is that?
Dragons. Send them all out. Start turning green strongholds to our cause and burn those who resist.
No. Begin fighting dragons, we invite our own destruction. Fear of it is in itself a weapon. Secure victory with armies, not with dragons alone. The Greens understand that.
Secreting yourself. Some are safe. While we remain here as a source of distraction for the enemy.
You propose to conduct the war in my absence?
It would merely be a precaution.
It would be treason.
Council would do well to remember that their queen wears the crown of my grandsire, Jaehaerys the Conciliator. A prudent ruler, the wisest of Targaryen kings whose reign outlasted every other. Even Aegon the Conqueror's.
I love Rhaenys.
Rhaena, Lord of the Tides.
Why
the girl
not?
knows nothing of ships, nor even of dragons.
There is Rhaena or there is Joffrey. Well, and if there is no time, we are at war, Corlys. If something were to befall you.
Then it is well.
Tyraxes and Stormcloud are young and vulnerable. These eggs are even more fragile.
3 of them look familiar.
But should all come to ruin here.
Aw, Joffrey.
I feel sad about Jaehaerys. But I ought not to, I think. People die all the time. Especially babes. They thought I had no more right to grief than they do. Surely they lose their babes more than highborn ladies.
The stranger comes. I love Jaehaerys, but my concern has been more for you and what you have endured. Helena,
I forgive you.
What?
I said that I forgive you.
Allison doesn't deserve her.
Suits you, Your Grace.
Lena should deserve better.
Worth more than a car.
What exquisite armor.
I was given the Conqueror's name and his crown, so I shall wear his armor to war. I fly to meet Sir Kristen.
Small imposition payment at her side. Absurd, of course.
Who spreads these lies?
Matters little. Tales take on a life of their own, like weeds, unless they are tended.
Is he playing mind tricks?
Tend to them then. And yet, I find myself wanting for one. I should be glad of your talents.
Master whispers, as if I haven't heard that before.
You honor me, Your Grace.
I think mayhaps I shall fly another day.
Yeah, it does seem wise on reflection.
You could come out with us, my king. Sir Martin has a new squire that wants bedding in.
He's never
You're sworn to chastity now.
Of course, Your Grace. Yes, Your Grace.
They're all a joke. They're all a joke.
We're telling you this. It cost me my head.
You are saying you're a Targaryen?
I'm the son of Balon the Brave, bastard brother to Prince Daemon and the late King Viserys, uncle to the one true queen, Rhaenyra Targaryen. The blood of the dragon runs through these veins.
Okay.
Men would take my head for it.
Oh, he's
You
a
do not look very
Targaryen.
much like King Viserys. Or Prince Daemon.
Oh. His hair. Yeah, because I'm their half-brother, you fuckwits.
All right. Yeah, I'll tell you who else doesn't have silver hair. The rightful heir to the Iron Throne, my nephew, Prince Jacaerys Velaryon.
Ooh.
No.
Oh, no.
She's
No,
worth 3
no,
times.
no. Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh.
Aemon the Fierce! You have come.
Did you fuck her like a hound?
Woo! 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 You see, I do not exaggerate.
Such is the madam's prowess.
Your squire is welcome to her. One oar is as good as another.
Is that Allison's letter? That looks like Allison's letter.
I assure you, my nephew will not begrudge me a night of comfort.
No one's taking him seriously.
We're exposed.
What?
Cole?
Get to the trees!
Who is it? Who is it? Dragon action! Wipe his ass off.
Act now, Your Grace. Loose the dragon's root Cole out and burn him.
She's asking for Bernice's help.
I have heard your arguments and will consider them.
She respects Bernice so much. Oh my god.
Always coming and going, aren't you? And I have to clean up afterwards.
She's back. Oh my god. So he's having a vision. Oh crap, she's back.
You will die in this place.
Why did you say that?
Myself.
Killing her would be easier.
If war can be averted, it is my duty to avert.
There is one place Alicent goes. Outside the castle walls.
The Sept.
Where you may yet find her alone.
The Sept. Oh, that. Oh my god, she reminds me of that lady from like season 7 or 6. It's like going back to season 1.
No. What? And then what? Oh, I've begun badly.
So you've come to surrender then?
I have come to see if we may uncover some path towards peace.
There are no terms now. You have no army. Your allies turn from you and they hear of your depravity. Your hands are bloody to no crime. I could never have imagined you.
Your trespass was not mine.
My heart.
Of course you do. I'm usurping my rightful inheritance.
There you go. Bingo.
And yet you will maintain that his mind was changed in an instant.
I will.
You lie.
Changed his mind, Rhaenyra. He changed his mind. I swear this to you, in the memory of my mother.
What did he say at the end?
Tell.
He speak my name?
Why is she not saying the exact thing that he said? Just say the whole damn thing of what he said.
He was weary. He said he was the prince that was promised to unite the realm.
What?
I desire peace as you do, but to possess.
Did my father use those words? The prince that was promised. Did he? A song of ice and fire. It's a story he once told about Aegon the Conqueror.
Oh, she must feel so stupid. Oh, now she feels stupid now, huh? She must feel really stupid. Come on. Think. Yeah.
You must go before you are discovered.
There's been a mistake.
There's been no mistake. Please.
Oh, there's clearly a mistake.
You can prevent this, Alicent.
Do not let your pride blind you.
There's
There's
been
no mistake. My father has gone from court. It's too late, Rhaenyra.
Alicent.
Oh my god. So that was the 3rd episode of House of the Dragon, and definitely not a lot of action, because I mean it seemed as though they were really building up to action, and I feel like we are finally going to get our first major battle, although technically speaking we kind of did, although again it was just for a brief 5 seconds, but even then that was a gruesome battle that happened right there. I think it was something mills, but yeah, we are starting to see things unravel for this war. Even when, and one of the things I really love is that we're seeing everyone's perspective of how they're perceiving the war, how they're trying to deal with it, how they're trying to slowly step forward into the war, so that way one or the other can get the advantage, and so on and so forth. So we are seeing a lot of things going on. Specifically, I want to speak about Rhaenyra, because we are seeing how she is trying to be very careful about her moves. She doesn't want bloodshed. She is listening to Rhaenys, which by the way, MVP. Like she's basically become the Tyrion Lannister of this series, who realizes that, you know, bloodshed and violence is only going to cause more chaos, and the last thing they need to do is to have so many people die in this war, especially one that is so useless, where even she's even saying that, you know, we don't really know when this war started. Everyone has their own assumptions to it. So the matter of fact is that Rhaenys is doing everything she can to try and influence Rhaenyra to do what she can to try and prevent this war from brewing any further. And I really like that approach. I'm loving how we're seeing Rhaenys being such a big influence here. I think, again, just seeing her in this episode, we start to see a little bit more of her wisdom. And even then, like, I feel like the more I see her, it's just the more I'm like, wow, like, I mean, this is one of those cases where you're just wondering, maybe, you know, Jaehaerys should have maybe appointed her as the ruler of King's Landing over Viserys, just because she is someone who is a bit more thoughtful and wise about what she wants to do, and realizes that you know, just going into war is really not the best answer. So I really appreciate how this episode really jumped on that dialogue. And again, I know a lot of people were like hoping for some action or for some violence, and of course we didn't get too much of it, but honestly, I think one of the best things about Game of Thrones, or at least, you know, just some of the early Game of Thrones stuff, is just the dialogue, just to see the character development, how people are thinking, what dilemma they're dealing with in the moment. And I think this is one of those cases where we're seeing really more so just the Game of Thrones vibe of it, where we're seeing every characters who are trying to figure out what their next moves are, what their thoughts are, how they're gonna move forward from there and develop. And I think, again, I think that because after like the whole time jump thing from season 1, I feel like watching season 2, you're starting to see a lot more of how things are a little bit more consistent. And the storytelling, how we're seeing a little bit more of this version of Rhaenyra. Because again, we saw so many different versions of Rhaenyra back then. We actually got to see Millie Alcott, so it's great to see her back. I mean, again, it was for brief vision moments, but even then, just seeing that, right? Just to see that we're getting to see a little bit more of Rhaenyra in her time as a monarch, as the queen that, you know, is trying to, again, stop this war from going forward, and then going to even to the extent to see Alicent, right? I mean, just that conversation right there, where, okay, it's like, wow, I never would have expected that we're going to have, you know, this confrontation between the two, like after I think, what is it? It's been about a couple weeks now. I want to say maybe a couple weeks now since Viserys' death. So but yeah, just again, seeing this revelation right here, seeing how these two former friends are now finally starting to, you know, realize what's going on, the whole prince that was promised thing. And then it's like, okay, we as audiences, we know for a fact that, you know, for Alicent, she has no idea what this prince that is promised thing is, and she's just thinking that, oh, Aegon should be he's basically saying that Aegon should be the king, right? But now it's like, oh, look, like Rhaenyra's hearing what he really said. And it's like, oh shit, that's not what he was really trying to mean. But he was talking about this story about the prince that was promised, and how Aegon the Conqueror was like, you know, blah blah blah. And it's just like, now you have that realization. It's just like, wow, okay, she made a boo-boo for sure. I mean, I hope that, you know, when we get to like the next episode, that Alicent starts to realize that she just made a huge mistake. I mean, it was really hard to tell from, you know, Olivia Cooke's reaction, because, like, I mean, it's like, okay, she's really just digesting everything, and considering the fact that, again, she's seeing someone who she hasn't seen for a long time, who she's not going to war with, and it's like, okay, well, we have all this, she's accusing me of being a liar, this is what he really said. It's like, okay, it's just like mind-blowing just to see that last one. Like, I would have never thought that we're gonna get that ending right there. It's just like, wow, this is something that, you know, we never thought would ever really happen, and then it happened. I gotta say that's pretty sharp move right there from Ryan Condell and all the writing team and the creative teams behind that. Like, again, because I don't even think this conversation, this meetup between them is even in Fire and Blood. So of course this is going to be a bit more on the creative side, that there's a bit more of the creative liberty, and I really love that we got to see this, because again, it's like the one moment they're all like, because we all know that, you know, there was this miscommunication with what Viserys said on his deathbed, and now finally this is all unraveling, and unfortunately it's too late. We know it's too late. This war is going to move forward. I mean, we know what happens in Fire and Blood, because, again, lots of deaths happen, lots of violence happen, lots of brutality happen. There's a lot of dragons that happens. So and it's like, oh wow, we're finally seeing the reality of it, but also how even despite Rhaenyra's efforts to try and, you know, stop this war from going any further, especially after, you know, the twins' death, it's simply put, that's too late now. And now I'm very curious now what she's going to do next, because now she knows that, now she understands that it's too late. There's no way to stop this war. She's going to have to move forward with it. She's going to have to make her own strategies, her own tactics with her chamber, her cabinet. So going to be that's going to be the most very interesting thing moving forward now, because after hearing Rhaenys for so long and using a lot of her wisdom and using a lot of her help to, you know, try to alleviate this war, it's at this point it's inevitable. So I'm very curious to see where that's gonna go. I really love that, again, just the development with Rhaenyra and the Alicent thing, like that is just great writing right there. And on top of that, of course, we have other things that have happened. So Daemon finally reaches Harrenhal, and then he has that vision. So I guess I'm gonna assume that this is like the first time we're actually seeing him feel guilty about something, because he is in a way kind of at fault for what happened. He is responsible for Jaehaerys's death, because I mean, he's the one who ordered it. Not in a way that he ordered it exactly, but because of what he requested from Blood and Cheese back in episode 1, that this is what led to this. And now they're in a lot of now they're very vulnerable, their position is very vulnerable, and right now they don't really have a lot of support because of the events that happened from Blood and Cheese, that is now, you know, tarnishing Rhaenyra's name and her claim to the throne. So lots of great things right there. I wonder what's gonna happen there. Even that lady who suddenly is like, oh, he's gonna die there. I wonder if that's a foreshadow. Again, I've not actually read Fire and Blood. I know snippets of what happens, but that seems like a foreshadow there. But of course, everything's going to be leading up to Harrenhal. Everyone is going there. We're seeing Kriston. We're seeing Alicent's brother. They're all heading there to Harrenhal to gather their troops, to gather people who can, you know, pledge their banner to Aegon. Or, of course, we also have Daemon, who's trying to do the same, but with Rhaenyra. So things are really starting to brew. We're starting to see this war really starting to intensify. We know for a fact that everyone's going to try and get as many people to side with them as they can. And especially because, you know, when it comes to war, like some of the ones who usually benefit from the war are those who have bigger armies, for sure, but also it doesn't take away the fact that you also have to be very strategic with what you want to do. And then there's also the resources, and of course, even though the fact that the Blacks have all the dragons, it's tough to beat anybody like the Greens, where they have Vhagar, who is literally the biggest dragon out of all of them. So I'm very, very excited to see what else is going to happen in the show. I think, again, this is another great episode that we get, where we're seeing the character developments. We're seeing how everyone's, you know, playing their cards. We see a little bit more Mysaria. We got a little bit of confirmation that she did actually warn Eric about the other, I think it was like Eric. It's really tough to even distinguish the difference of the pronunciations, but she did hold back. She basically did save Rhaenyra's life, so that's confirmed now. And now she's basically, you know, Rhaenyra's Masters of Whispers right there. So, so yeah, lots of good developments going on. I mean, again, it's just great to see how things are really starting to intensify in the show. We know for a fact that there's going to be war, there's going to be battles. I feel like just with how things have progressed right now from this episode, like it wouldn't be too long until we're probably going to see our first major battle that's probably going to be a bit more full scale. At least not like the one that we saw here, where we saw like the conflict between the River One guys and the Baratheons. So but we're probably gonna get something that's a bit more bigger, almost like, you know, our episode 9s that we used to get with Game of Thrones, where we had like something like was that Hardhome or the Battle of Blackwater. Like, we're gonna have some of those like big battles, and it seems like so that we're probably actually gonna get that very soon, maybe in episode 2. I'm gonna guess. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say about tonight's episode right there. Again, I think it's a really nice development here. I know a lot of people probably wanted to see a bit more of like the fighting, but again, things need to kind of, you know, build up to the moment, right? It's building up, it's brewing. We know war's coming. Give it some time, and hopefully by the time we do get our first battle, it's going to be one that's very satisfactory. So yeah, that's all I have to say about today's episode right there. What are your thoughts about it? What are your thoughts about that ending right there? I know a lot of people are probably just like, oh my god, this is what we never thought this was going to happen. Like, what are your thoughts about this meetup that we finally get between Alicent and Rhaenyra? What are your thoughts about how each of them have reacted to, you know, their actual findings, I guess, of what Viserys was really trying to say on his deathbed? What do you think the whole vision was that Daemon saw at Harrenhal? Like, I mean, it seems as though that we're starting to see a little bit more of Harrenhal manifesting their curse on him, and what does that mean? What is this? And now we don't know for a fact that everyone is trying to get into Harrenhal. Who's going to succeed in it? Again, I have not read the book, so I can't really say whether or not that's actually known or not. But also, not just that, but also seeing Aemon. We got to see a little bit of Aemon here, who, you know, it's been a bit more quiet, right? But yeah, let me know your thoughts are having seen this episode, overall thoughts, any predictions, and things that you're looking forward to. Let me know your thoughts below, and make sure to like and subscribe.